Hey guys, this is Mr. Conductor 13. Now, I just want to put this out there. This is a re-upload of 2 videos from my main channel, Comic Fan 13, tackling the idea of if Oliver was the main character of Journey Beyond Sodor. If you've seen those, this should seem familiar, but I thought I'd re-upload it as a bit of a refresher since I'm finally going to get around to finishing it. So without further delay, all aboard, let's jump right in. Journey Beyond Sodor. It was, a controversial Thomas film, to say the least. From the very first trailer, people were just divided on this film. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and some people were somewhere in between. My thoughts on the film have swayed throughout its 5 years of being released, and the conclusion I have right now is that I like it, but I feel there was a lot more they could have done with the concept. I love what they were going for here, something a little bit more dark and intense. But simply by the fact that it's connected to the Thomas and Friends title, I feel that it had to be a bit more kid-friendly because, let's be honest, in today's world, everyone sees Thomas as just another kids show. Personally, I think that argument is just ignorant. Kids are smarter than you think. And even if kids were as stupid as people would think, simply put, you're not just writing for the kids. You're writing for the unfortunate parents that have to watch the product with them. So, to put my money where my mouth is, I'm going to attempt to rewrite Journey Beyond Sodor with a darker tone in mind, while still keeping it relatively family-friendly. However, I'm going to throw in a curveball here. As much as I love Thomas, trust me, I hold the unpopular opinion of saying that Thomas is my favorite character in the franchise. I don't think he's right for the lead role of this story. So, by following the example of Steamzilla95, I'm going to be proposing Oliver to be the main character of this rewrite. Besides, he has a history with scrap, so I think basing him as the main character of a story about a steelworks just feels appropriate. So, with all that out of the way, let's get started. Journey Beyond Sodor opens similarly to how it does in the original film. The narrator explains to the audience how the Northwestern Railway operates across the island of Sodor. He explains that there are branch lines, industries, yards, seaside villages, and of course the main line that are operated thanks in part to the efforts of the engines. The narrator explains how the mainline services continue all the way to Vickerstown. However, the scene shifts after that. It's explained that although the line continues beyond Sodor into the mainland, none of the steam engines go there. At least, not anymore. The scene fades to Oliver and Toad pulling a line of tankers towards Vickerstown. The two friends are jovially chatting.
Lovely day, isn't it, Mr. Oliver?
Indeed it is, Toad. Perfect day for me to stretch my wheels. Oliver eagerly speeds up a little bit, but Toad corrects him.
Whoa, beg your pardon, Mr. Oliver, but we gotta start slowing down. We're nearing Vickerstown.
Right, you can be such a stick in the mud, Toad. The two quickly arrive at Vickerstown. Oliver looks out into the distance and sees the Vickerstown Bridge. Oliver looks a little concerned. Thomas rolls up. He's been the station pilot this week as Rosie went to the works to be repainted. This will be his obligatory cameo in the film. Enjoying the view, Oliver? It would be nice to see the world, wouldn't it? Oliver seemed almost insulted by this comment.
No, Thomas, it wouldn't be nice.
Thomas was shocked by Oliver's outburst.
Oliver, are you okay?
Yes, I'm sorry, Thomas. Just, the mainland brings back a lot of bad memories.
Really?
It seemed quite nice when we went to the Great Railway Show. Trust me, Thomas, if you saw what the other railway does when the cameras are put away, you wouldn't want to go there either. We would then get a scene depicting what it's like to be a steam engine on British Railway. This brutal scene would be in stark contrast to the joy-filled one we saw at the beginning of the film. As we snap back to reality, Oliver is shunting in the Vickerstown yard, with Toad still attached to the tankers they just delivered. "You're doing an excellent job, Mr. Oliver." "Right, thank you, Toad." Just then, one of the workmen walked up to Oliver. "James is broken down. We need you to take his coaches." "Coaches? Right, sir."
Do you want me to come with you, Mr. Oliver?
"Thank you, Toad, but I think I could use some time by myself. I'll be back in a few hours." Toad could tell that Mr. Oliver was feeling a bit down. However, he had too much respect for him to object.
"Okay, Mr. Oliver. I'm here if you need anything."
"Thank you, Toad." And with that, the Great Western pair split up. By noon, Sidney, the forgetful diesel, had come to collect the oil tankers and take them on to the mainland. "All right, I'm at the yard. Now, what am I here for again?" Just then, Rosie rolled up, in her red paint job, might I add.
"Ah, Sidney, right on time. Your train is in that siding over there. Toad is still attached, so you'll need to swap him out, but you can use any brake van. Well, I'd love to stay and chat, but I need to get these trucks in order."
And with that, Rosie rolled away. Sidney reversed down to his train, humming his little song. "Ha ha ha, he, a very special job for me. I come to the yard to get my load, but I better remember to swap out Toad." However, as they were being coupled up, a lot of safety checks had to be done, since they were flammable material. By the time everything was ready, Sidney had completely forgotten about Toad. "Ha ha ha, he, a very special job for me. I come to the yard to get my load and, I better not dawdle and hit the road." And with that, Sidney raced down the line towards the Vickerstown Bridge with Toad in tow. The brake van, who was asleep at the time, was blissfully unaware of the journey he was about to embark on. Elsewhere, Oliver was pulling the local and was experiencing his own troubles. We now get to see what's been bothering him ever since he saw the Vickerstown Bridge. As the camera fades, we're treated to a beautifully brutal recreation of escape. For those unaware of the story, Oliver was sold for scrap, but was saved by the Northwestern Railway's number 10, Douglas. The Caledonian twin had once been saved from scrap himself, so he returned the favor to Oliver. Although it would be incredibly brief, as not to ruin the flow of the current story, this flashback would not just serve as fan service, but would also show the audience, or remind them, why Oliver has no intention of ever returning to the mainland, and why seeing it, even from afar, brought back a number of bad memories. Before long, Oliver returned to Vickerstown Yard. He looked around, but he couldn't see Toad anywhere. "Hi, Rosie, do you know where Toad is?"
Well, I know he was attached to Sidney's train, but I told him to leave Toad behind."
The two paused.
"You don't think..."
We then cut to Oliver racing down the line, light engine, towards the Vickerstown Bridge. "Don't worry, Toad, I'll get you back quickly. Then Oliver sees the bridge and the mainland beyond. Despite his fears, Oliver plucks up courage and races across it. "I'll get you back, Toad. I promise you." Elsewhere, Toad is finally waking up.
I must have fallen asleep. Where am I?"
Toad looks around. He's in a goods yard like none he had ever seen.
Oh dearie me."
"Can I help you?" Toad was startled. "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you."
"Oh, no, it's fine.
I'm sorry, what's your name?" We pan back to see who Toad is talking to. "The name's Hurricane, like a storm."
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hurricane, but, I'm afraid I'm a bit lost."
"Lost? How does that happen? I mean, you are a brake van after all."
"Oh, I must have been attached to the wrong train. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even know I left Sodor yet."
Hurricane smiled towards the small brake van. Well, how about this? I need a brake van, so if you help me, maybe I'll send you back to Sodor when we're done. Do we have a deal?
Toad. The name's Toad. And yes, that sounds splendid.
Before long, Toad was attached to the back of Hurricane's train, and they headed off down the line. The two were talking about their many adventures.
I knew that if I didn't stop the train there and then, there would have certainly been a crash. So I applied the brakes as tough as I could and brought the train to a halt.
Haha, that sounds incredible.
Well, it's my job, I suppose.
No, really, that's amazing. Yeah, I think Frankie's gonna like you.
Frankie?
Oh, she's the diesel I work with. It gets pretty lonely down at the steelworks, but...
Wait, steelworks? You mean like a scrapyard?
Whoa, calm down, little guy. It's just a steelworks, another industry like any other. Besides, you can trust me. Nothing is going to happen to you. Do you trust me, Toad?
Okay. I trust you, Miss Hurricane.
Tops. Okay, we'll be there in a few minutes. Hang on tight. And with that, Hurricane raced down the line, headed closer and closer to the steelworks. As the pair travel down a branch line, they come across a blue crane.
Oh, hello there. Oh, hello there, Mr. Crane.
Toad, ignore the crane.
But why, Mr. Hurricane? Just trust me, okay, Toad? Okay, Mr. Hurricane.
Without another word, Toad and Hurricane rolled away.
Oh, leaving so soon? Come back soon. My name's Beresford, by the way.
Before long, Hurricane and Toad arrive at the steelworks, which is introduced as this grandiose establishment. Smoke erupts from several chimneys across the steelworks, which have a golden glow against the rising sun. And a glow nearly as intense erupts from the sheds themselves, where smelter work is at play. From the outside, it surely looks heavenly. With the goods train in tow, Hurricane rolls into the yard. Here she is, Toad, the steelworks. Ain't she a beauty?
Well, I suppose it does look rather nice.
Hurricane! What took you so long? Toad nearly jumped as a voice interrupted him. A small 060 diesel shunter emerged from the smelter shed.
In case you've forgotten, Hurricane, we're trying to run a business here. If we don't have metal to melt down, then we can't.
It's only then that she notices Toad.
Oh, you got a new brake van. Bit shoddy, rather old, but I'm sure we can get some decent scrap out of him.
Toad was now terrified.
Wait, I'm not here for... Yeah, little brake van. That's what they all say. It's nothing personal. We just need the scrap.
Frankie, Toad here has promised to help us. We are in need of a brake van, after all.
Yes, I agreed to help, and I'll be more than happy to help until Hurricane takes me back home. Takes you back? Oh, okay. Fine, you can stick around, little brake van. But I'm going to proceed with my work. I advise you stay out of my way. Yes, most certainly, Miss Frankie.
As Frankie rolled away, Hurricane started to comfort Toad. I'm sorry about Frankie. She's very dedicated to her work. This place, it's definitely seen better days. But we're pulling through.
Really? I thought a scrapyard on the mainland would be doing very well.
We were, but there's only 2 of us now. We couldn't keep up with the work, so our clients found other scrapyards. We've been trying to make ends meet ever since.
I see. Well, thanks for standing up for me, Hurricane.
No problem. You help me, and I'll help you. With that, Hurricane shunted Toad with his train into the back sidings out of the way. Elsewhere, Oliver was racing down the line, looking for Toad. Oliver's driver poked his head out of the cab door. What's your plan here, Oliver? My plan is to find Toad. We should have asked the station master where Sidney's train was going. We don't even know where Toad could be. We didn't have time.
Any second that we waste, it's a second Toad could be at the scrapyard. Look, Oliver, I get it. You care about Toad. But if we go in without a plan, we're the ones that's going to end up in the scrapyard. As if on cue, Oliver could hear the distant sounds of diesel horns. We can't be spotted. Not now. Oliver saw a set of points ahead of them. He nor his driver knew where they led, but it was better than waiting for the diesels to find them. Oliver raced down the old line, not stopping until he could no longer hear the sound of the diesels. Only then did Oliver look around. He was surrounded by overgrown trees and buildings with rusted metal pipes all around them. This clearly must have been one of the many branch lines the British Railway considered uneconomical and left to rot. Oliver suddenly began to hear something in the distance, but it wasn't a diesel. It sounded like a steam engine. Suddenly, a long tender engine raced backwards. A cab-forward engine at that.
Pleased to meet you.
Well, hello there. The scene would play out very similarly to how it did in the original film, with Lexi, the cab-forward engine, introducing herself along with Theo. Lexi would explain that Theo and her designers had purposely chosen this abandoned branch line so that they could experiment and improve upon their designs. So far, it had varying effects. Oliver explained that he couldn't stay long. He needed to find his friend Toad. He was only here so that he could avoid the diesels. The two understood and wished him luck on his quest. Oliver continued down the line until he came across a blue crane, the very same one that Hurricane and Toad had run into earlier. Oh, hello there. What are you doing around here?
My name's Oliver. I'm looking for a brake van. His name's Toad. Have you seen him?
Toad. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, I saw a brake van called Toad. He was headed with another engine to the steelworks around east from here. Engines nowadays are always in such a hurry, but I'm glad that you and me can talk. I'm sure we'll be the best of friends. By the time Beresford looked back down at the ground, Oliver was already long gone, racing towards the steelworks. Oliver raced down the line like never before. He was running low on coal and water, but that didn't matter right now. Don't worry, Toad. I'll save you. Soon, Oliver arrives at the steelworks, which, as a note, it looks incredibly dark and depressing compared to the one we saw earlier, matching Oliver's current point of view. Oliver comes to a stop just outside the yard. He feels a deep dread within him. This scrapyard brings back a lot of bad memories, even more than he had felt earlier. But Oliver's determined to save his friend, even if it feels like he can't enter the yard. But that wasn't just a feeling. Oliver really couldn't enter the yard. He ran out of coal and water. No, not now. Just then, Oliver looks back over at the scrapyard and sees an engine approaching. A Great Western engine. Been a while since I've seen one of those. What seems to be the problem? I ran out of cold water. Don't sweat it. It happens to the best of us. Come on, I have plenty of cold water back in my shed. Hurricane buffers up to Oliver and tows him towards his shed. So, what brings an engine like you to the steelworks? Well, I've been looking for my friend. I was told he might be here. His name's Toad. Hurricane paused impressively, clearly planning his response. I see. Who told you about this? Some blue crane. Take it from me, pal. You can't trust a thing that crane says. He'll say anything to get you to stick around. So you're telling me this is another dead end? Well, I wouldn't say that. How about this? No steam engine knows BR better than me. If you help me around the yard for a couple days, I'll help you find Toad. Hurricane's smile grew a little bit larger. After all, on British Railway, we steamies gotta stick together, right?
Oliver smiled back. You got yourself a deal, Hurricane. My name's Hurricane. My name's Oliver. And with their deal struck, Oliver followed Hurricane further into the steelworks, blissfully ignorant to the situation at hand. And this is where we'll be leaving this what if for right now. So what do you think will happen next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Mr. Conductor 13, and I hope to see you on our next ride.